today on Divorce Court.
I'm here today to find out whether or not I should marry Antonio. I was a teen mom. I had my first son at 15 and my second son at 17. I almost married a man who was sent away to prison, and I do not want to make the same mistake twice.
I want Tyler to stop texting her male friends late at night and to treat me like a man and not like a kid.
I want the judge to tell me whether or not I'm making a mistake by walking down the aisle with Antonio.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Tyler Gilbert and Antonio Simmons. The two of you are considering getting married. You've come here to ask me for my advice. I find this my maternal role, and I'm especially happy to do it for you, Ms. Gilbert, because I don't think you have a lot of folk to talk to, and I'm going to talk to you. Mr. Simmons, you are 29 years old. Ms. Gilbert, you are 23. You have no children together. You, however, have 2 children from previous relationships. Yes, so, Ms. Gilbert, I've gotten your compatibility tests, and I've got your license, and should I find it ill-advised, I will tear it up, as you have given me permission to do. So, Ms. Gilbert, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about who you are and how you got to this position?
So I was a teen mom. I had my first son at the age of 15. He really motivated me to get my life together. I graduated high school early and I went off to college. I had my second son at the age of 17. At the time, I was in a relationship. Everything was good. He ended up getting sent away to prison. So that took a toll on, future relationships. And, I just want to make sure that I'm making the right decision by walking down the aisle with Antonio.
Are you concerned about the way you pick your guys?
Yeah, in a way, yes, I am.
Do you know if you have a type?
Probably the bad boy.
you have the bad boy type? Does Mr. Simmons, does he fall into that category at all?
Somewhat. He has the traits.
Okay, Mr. Simmons, why don't you tell me what your major concerns are about a potential union with Ms. Gilbert?
I love Tyler. She's beautiful. She's intelligent. She's very smart. I just need her to cut all her crap with her male friends, texting and calling her at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
So she has a bevy of male friends.
Yes, ma'am.
And you find that disconcerting. Do you believe at all that she's cheating on you at all, or you just don't like the fact that she's doing that?
I don't like the fact that she's doing that. I've never been in a relationship with a female who had male friends like she does. So it's something new to me.
Right. Are you real close to these guys? And can you imagine if the situation were reversed and he had women friends as close to him as your male friends are to you, that you would feel a little uncomfortable or concerned about the situation?
Yes, Your Honor. If the roles were switched, I would have a problem with it. But Antonio knew what it was when he walked into the relationship. I told him, from the beginning that, I had these male friends, and he seems okay with it.
How long did you two date before you moved in together?
I met Tyler in November of last year and moved in February of this year.
Now, Mr. Simmons, why so quickly? That's 90 days.
When I first met Tyler, we connected like right away.
Oh, come on now. Listen, people, we connected right away. You could fall in lust with somebody, in a moment's time. In order to live with someone, you really got to know them. You have to understand them. You got to know who they are, what they do, how they respond to different things. You can't just move in because it felt good at the beginning. It always feels good in the beginning. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gilbert, were you at all concerned about jumping into a relationship 3 months after you meet a guy to move him into your home?
Absolutely. But we had, starting off, our connection was extremely strong, and I was a little skeptical for him to meet my kids, but once he did finally meet them, he's amazing with them. He is really good with them. I do fear sometimes that, sometimes he can act like a third son because, I work all day. I come home, nothing's done. He's wrestling with the kids, and, he sometimes acts like my third child. But, at the beginning, that was one of the things that kind of
Does he work?
No, he does not.
So he's home with the kids all day long. Now, are you home playing with the kids like they're your homies, or are you actually parenting the children while you're there?
When I'm acting with the kids, we play around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we just be.
And on the back end, since you're not working right now, are you doing all the things that make her life easier, cooking, cleaning, and taking care of all that business, so when she gets home, she's not burdened with that because she's going to work every day?
I do sometimes,
No.
not all the time.
Okay. So are you working, Mr. Simmons?
No, back in 2015, I got a DUI. So when I got the DUI, I lost my driver's license, and I also lost my job. I was working at the airport as a ramp agent, hauling luggage to.
So how long have you been unemployed, all in all?
Since October.
Since October of 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's almost October of 2016.
Correct.
What have you done to regain some sort of employment in that year's time?
Nothing. I just been drawing
How do you
unemployment.
feel good about that? You've got a 23-year-old young lady with 2 kids. You sitting in her house, not bringing in any money, not cooking any food, not cleaning anything up, and wrestling with her kids all day. How do you feel comfortable doing that?
I don't feel comfortable doing that, but like I said, I get my license back October 20th, so I was just trying to wait that year out so I can go back to the
you know,
airport.
where do you live?
Alexandria, Virginia.
They got buses?
Yes.
How come you won't get on one and get a job?
Your Honor, like where we live, like there's a bus every 15 minutes, just so you know.
Now, are you comfortable with what he's doing?
No, I'm not. In fact, like, you know, when I come home after a long day, like it's always, can you take me here? Can you take me there? And like that's like so annoying. Like
Hold up. You don't work. You don't clean, you don't cook. You mess up the house with the kids, and when she gets home, she's your taxi service?
I mean, she's my only transportation.
Oh, we need to talk.
One night, Tyler had went to bed early, and she was texting a male friend all day long. And when I went through her phone to pull up the conversation, I seen where she had sent him some pictures of her in her lingerie.
Now, Ms. Gilbert, did you do that? Ms. Gilbert, you say he's a sex addict.
yes, he is.
Explain that to me.
Okay, well, we can have sex like 3-4 hours at a time, and then, you know, afterwards he will go off somewhere and I go find him, come to find out like he's watching porn, and it's like, it's a constant thing. Like, you know, we have sex all the time.
Mr. Simmons, is that accurate?
Yes, I mean, I'm a man. I love sex. What man doesn't?
That's true.
I don't pressure her to have sex, you know. When we do have sex, she could get her and tell me to stop. And when she tells me to stop, that's when I stop and I go off.
You go finish elsewhere
That's
on your own. How often do you guys have sex? Is it an everyday thing?
Yes, and at a time it was like 3-4 times a day. Like,
How old are your kids?
I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old.
You have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Yes.
How do you find time to interact with them? He seems to keep you very busy. You have to work. You have to chauffeuring them around. You have to have 4 hours worth of sex a day. How's your time looking for the little ones?
You know, let's just say I don't get much sleep. Like, you know, whenever I'm awake, the time is dedicated to them and him. And then, you know, they go to bed. They have a bedtime, so.
You seem happy. You seem joyful. I would be annoyed out of my mind. I would be mad all day, every day about what he's not doing, but you seem oddly satisfied with it. Do you think you deserve more than you're getting?
Absolutely, like I really do. Like there was this one time that, you know, I was doing laundry, because that's another thing that I always do, laundry, and I found a pair of thongs in our laundry, and they were not mine. They were too small, and I went to him about it, and he denied it. He said that it has to be one of my female friends. Because I don't go out much, you know, my friends come to the house.
To see you?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Simmons, is that thong story true, or?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. She was doing my laundry one day, and she found a pair of thongs that was in my laundry. She asked me about it, and I told her I didn't know. So we argued about it for a few minutes, and she left it at that.
Well, I understand that, since we're talking about underwear, that you have a lingerie concern. She did something and sent it to someone, and you found that grossly inappropriate. Why don't you tell me about that?
Yes, one night, Tyler had went to bed early, and she was texting a male friend all day long. So when she went to bed, she left her phone downstairs, so I decided I was gonna go through her phone and see what kind of conversation that her and this male friend was having. And when I went through her phone to pull up the conversation, I seen where she had sent him some pictures of her in her lingerie.
Now, Ms. Gilbert, did you do that?
I did, okay, but there's there's a backstory though. Like, I just wanted to get, because I am very close with this guy friend, so I wanted to get his opinion on it. No, it wasn't the right thing to do, but I really didn't see any harm in it. But then again, he shouldn't have gone through my phone.
There's so many things. I want to take you home and fix you a meal and sit down and have a long conversation with you. But what I'm going to do before we do anything else, I want to turn to the compatibility test and ask a couple of questions based on what I saw there, because they have elicited some concerns on my part. Does that change how you feel about that strong connection you thought you had with him?
Absolutely, absolutely. It changes a lot of things. Like, I didn't know anything about that, and like that, like, how can you do that to somebody that you want to love, like that you love and you want to marry, and you know, like, I don't understand that.
On my compatibility test, I always ask if there is something that you would like to admit or say to your intended that they don't already know. I asked that question to you, and you said, no, nothing. You, on the other hand, said, no, she basically knows all about me. Now, I happen to know that may not be true. Why don't you tell me something that she basically doesn't know that she ought to know?
Okay, Your Honor. When I met Tyler back in November, we started talking. I cut all ties with my females that I was dealing with. It was this one female that we continuously text back and forth. So one night she texted me, she wanted to come over and talk. So I said, okay. So she came over and we talked, and she ended up staying over, and we slept together that night. So with the thongs, that's where the thongs came
That's
from.
where the thongs came
Hold
from.
up, but wait a minute. So how are you getting mad at me about my male friends, but you're sleeping with other people? Like, when were you gonna tell me that?
It was one time. It was
Okay,
just-
one time too many.
Are you angry?
Yeah, like, I didn't know that.
Does
And
that change how you feel about the depth, breadth, and understanding of that strong connection you thought you had with him?
Absolutely, absolutely. It changes a lot of things. Like, I didn't know anything about that, and like that, like, how can you do that to somebody that you want to love, like that you love and you want to marry, and you know, like, I don't understand that.
Mr. Simmons, why do you want to marry Miss Gilbert?
I love her. She's beautiful.
Right.
She's, like I said, she's smart.
Obviously not smart enough.
Give me a 30-second sales job. Turn to her, look at her, and tell her why she is so special and wonderful that you want to spend the rest of your life with her.
You're beautiful. Like I said, you're smart. You have 2 kids. You're a single mother. And I watch you raise these boys, and I think you do a good job. You're young, and you don't find many young girls your age with the head on the shoulder that you have.
Ms.
not
Gilbert,
buying
do you want to give a 30-second sales job to him?
Honestly, no. I really don't. Like, I'm upset about that whole situation.
Ms. Gilbert,
like,
that is the happiest thing I could have heard from you since I have been worried, concerned, frightened, and fearful about your state of mind since you came out here. The one thing that you said on your compatibility test that made me really concerned too was that I asked you what's wrong with you and you said nothing.
no, I don't think so.
That's a lack of self-awareness. There's something wrong with everybody. There's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with him. There's a whole lot wrong with him, and there's something wrong with you. And to the extent that you don't understand and are aware of your weaknesses will continue to trip you up. You've been tripped up a couple of times by your weaknesses, and your failure to acknowledge them will not allow you to make better decisions in the future. I'm gonna put that out there. You know what the one wonderful thing that you did was, other than the fact that you didn't want to make any mad professions of love to him? You want some money from him.
I sure
And
do.
I want you to tell me what kind of money you want from him and why.
Okay, so this goes along with guy friends. So me and him were in my car one night. We were chilling, you know, it was late, it was the weekend, and I had gotten a text from one of my guy friends. Like, that triggered something off in him. He snatched my phone out of my hand and, like, took off with it. So, like, I followed him around the car. We went around the building, maybe like 30 minutes. We came back around. I noticed, because I had my sunroof open, so I noticed there was smoke coming from my car. So I run over to my car, and, like, the side of my seat is on fire, which I have the evidence.
Mr. Simmons, what is your version of that event?
I feel like we're both at fault for that, because if she wasn't texting her male friends at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, the seat would have never got burnt.
Well, it was your cigarette, right?
It was my cigarette.
And
yes.
you dropped it on the way out, didn't
Yes.
you? Okie dokie. And this is the burn, and it's gonna cost $392.50 to fix it, I understand.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me tell you, my man, you need to get a job. Number one, because you're going to pay her that $392.50. You have no business chasing somebody out the car and being so negligent as to drop your cigarette in that car and light it on fire. This woman has got kids. She's got a job. She's trying to support people. She's supporting you, and you need to take care of your business. You don't need to cause her any more harm than she is. And another thing I have to say to you is this, Miss Gilbert. There's something missing. You're trying to make yourself feel better by connecting yourself with guys. That's what gets you these kids pregnant so soon. I don't know what you didn't get in your past. I don't know who didn't love you. I don't know what hole you're trying to fill, but you're not being discerning enough. That first sense of connection that you feel, all that is your hormones talking to his hormones. Your estrogen talking to his testosterone. Your oxytocin and his vasopressin, they come up and they talk to each other. But you don't know who he is, what he is, how he lives, who he honors, how he was raised, what he wants to do, his ambitions, what happens when things go bad for him. Is he a go-getter, is he a no-getter? You don't know any of that. So you really didn't have a connection. All you had was a hormonal response. But what I want you to do is when you get home, see, I'm tearing this up now so you don't get confused. There will be no marriage in this matter if you've got any sense. He's using you, and it's not fair. And I'm going to award you $392.50. It is so ordered.
I decided to come clean today because me and Tyler was thinking about marriage, and I felt like that was something that she needed to know.
You're not supposed to treat them like that. You're not supposed to do those type of things to someone that you claim you want to marry. You don't.